Right, it's good to be back finally after. Well, that makes it sound like WME wasn't fun, and it certainly was. But Jamie Hutber here, and shortly joined by Lionel. I mean, he's here waiting, obviously, but he's on the other side. And we jump into episode, I believe, 9. See you on the other side.
Mini Matters, a miniature painting podcast.
I think that was all right. I reckon that
That's good. That was a professional Jamie. It didn't feel like a Jamie intro.
Really, might have to watch that back. It certainly felt like one when I was. Do you know what's weird? Is this T-shirt was the same T-shirt I was wearing at the end of World Model Expo.
Right.
Now I have washed it. I just want to point that out that this is a washed T-shirt. It's not that I've not moved. I don't think I've left the house many times though since getting back. Actually,
No, have you not?
not really. Maybe like 3 times, which is not many, is it? When you think about it, it's like, when was it? Sunday.
We've been back a week, haven't we?
Nah,
No, we haven't been back.
Yeah, we got back on Monday evening.
Yeah,
and it's Monday day today.
back a
I
week.
met Albert yesterday. I went to the post office, and I've been to Sainsbury's. Okay, I've been 4 times out of the house because I've been Sainsbury's twice to top up. Well, the thing is, I was meant to get on the plane yesterday. You see,
Yeah.
So I didn't need to go to Sainsbury's that often. Anyway, should we do the news or?
and then we can talk about your trip to Sainsbury's afterwards. How many tubs of Haagen-Dazs you bought?
None, actually, none.
Oh, really?
I did buy a box of cornflakes though. Kellogg's Crunchy Nut cornflakes. So I shouldn't have bought that, but there you go. What can you do? So yeah, take it away, Lionel.
Yeah, so the first piece of news I wanted to jump into was from Black Sun Miniatures. The sleeping giant has awoken. And the reason I say that is because Black Sun is, for me, I'm a bit lopsided. I'll just move across. But
Hold on, wait. I can scribble you over there. Look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't know.
Black Sun for me is one of the big independent model companies that I noticed when I first moved away from GW mainstream studios, and they're a bit of a powerhouse in terms of the models they produce, but also the selection they have and everything. But you will have noticed that they have been quiet for quite some time.
I did actually
for over a year.
When browsing their website from the link that you sent, then it hit me because it was the last one was that Rogniglog, the orc guy, the red orc. And I thought, bloody hell, I've known that for a long time, and that's shocking actually. So so
they've been quiet for well over a year. And then also as well, if you do check their websites, as I do, they're a bit low on stock. A lot of their staples have been out of stock for a while, so they've been a bit quiet. The reason they have been is they've obviously come alive again on social media, and there's quite a bit of news coming from them actually. So they're making up for that quiet period. The first piece of news is a piece of news we touched upon on an episode last year, Jamie, I think, whereby they announced that they were building a purpose space studio for Black Sun Miniatures. And it was in its early settings. We've had an update, and those photos there show the update, and the building has moved along quite considerably. And it is looking to open now in October or November this year. So the idea is there's going to be a retail space on the ground floor, and there's going to be a studio space on the second floor. And the studio space will be used for painting courses, sculpting courses, and any other kind of studio events that they want to open up to people. So the calendar at the minute is October, November for the retail space to open on the ground floor, and then January for workshops to start. And they're based in Essex, I believe. But I'll put a link in the description to that. So that's close to you, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll be making a trip down then, will you?
I will do, yeah. So obviously, I'd love to see what they've got going on. We did reach out to Carlos
A while ago.
Last year, and he did indicate that he was happy for us to come around and film and look around. Obviously, since then we've done a lot more shows, and he might have changed his mind having seen what we do. Hopefully he hasn't. Hopefully that invitation is still on the table, and if it is, then would love to get Jamie's massive 4K, 6K camera down
6K,
there.
get it right, mate. Yeah.
6K, sorry.
Not lose 2K. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 4K parameters.
Yeah.
To take a tour. So before we move on to the other Black Sun news, what do you think about that, Jamie? What's your initial thoughts? What are your Jamieisms?
I'm trying not to swear today, by the way. So we should have a little counter, maybe. I'm never going to do that, am I? Never going to edit that bit. Well, I can't. I'd love to know what the hell happened for a year, but obviously that's private, so I don't need to know. But I just out of pure curiosity, like, you know, and especially when they built this thing from scratch. Obviously, we saw so it wasn't like they're renting the space from somewhere. They've actually built it for this reason, which is, I think, awesome. The photo we saw a while ago, it did make me laugh because it did just look like in a field. So I want to know how close it is. I'm assuming it's in a town or something else. But I mean, I'm really excited, oddly, to see it and go down there and film like a little day of us getting there and filming and seeing what it's like, basically.
I'm also really curious to see what workshops he's got planned, because obviously he will have his calendar planned, I would have thought, for next year if it's starting in January. And obviously he's had a number of notorious sculptors and painters work with him on his general releases. So it'll be interesting to see what pool of talent he can tap into. Sculpting is very interesting because I don't think it'll be your green stuff, convert this miniature. I think it'll be possibly quite full on. And I don't think we have any real access to sculpting courses in the UK. So that would be very interesting if he takes that line.
Yeah, it is weird, actually, isn't it? We did that. Maybe it's because we've never looked to attend one that we don't know, or they just. I don't think there are many. I must admit, yeah. And no, it's a double whammy. So yeah, sorry. Yeah, there aren't many courses that I know of. I was talking to Juan Diaz, I have to name drop, about it, and he said he runs courses, but he still doesn't know of many. I suppose there aren't that many sculptors doing it, are there? There's a lot more painters. Maybe painting's more accessible than sculpting.
Yeah, it's also as well, I think you can obviously show some techniques in a weekend workshop. I'm not sure how far you can get along sculpting a model in a weekend workshop. I don't know. And also the pool of, without trying to be disrespectful, the pool of painters is far larger than the pool of sculptors, isn't it? If you look at it, it's the same old names popping up on releases. You know, there's a handful of good sculptors who seem to sculpt for all the companies, whereas in terms of box artists, painters, that pool grows every day, as far as I'm.
I do think that sculpting is probably a harder barrier to get past to be a professional level, whereas painting you can paint normally for, I guess maybe there's more people wanting commissions who aren't box arts, but you learn on. Whereas there are fewer people maybe commissioning. Yeah, it's a lot easier to get, or conceptually to get a piece painted, I think. But I know of a couple of people who do sculpting courses on like Adepticon and stuff. So there definitely are, like Joe Orteza does sculpting courses.
And ironically, I think there was a sculpting course on the World Expo we went to as well. But I think what's unique for us is you don't see it in the UK much, do you? You see like green stuff for converting Space Marines and, you know, adding a bit of a je ne sais quoi to your gaming pieces, but not really, as I anticipate this being. I might be completely wrong. Not really sculpting with like proper sculptor's clay, something which is a
sculpty or whatever.
A lump into something that looks like something in theory.
I think it's true. I'll be interested. Obviously, they know what they're doing. Black Sun.
Yeah, like I said, Black Sun for me is one of the leading model companies, independent model companies on the scene. They've always had presentation, website. They've always looked, like the real deal.
So weird, isn't it, that they went away for all that time? I suppose they were still selling models, weren't they? It wasn't like they weren't.
They were, but stock was low. But like I said, obviously we had the pandemic, so movement of product was difficult, wasn't it? During that time, we've had Brexit, which will make movement of product even more difficult for us in the UK. And then building a space like that, getting the planning permission, getting the clearance, because it's not a domestic, it's a it's a business industrial. It's not easy to do. Well,
I'm proud of them. Oh, we could jump through. I'm excited to see, because it will be the first kind of shop I think I've seen from these kind of, that isn't a Games Workshop or like an Element Games or like a retailer of other. It's a targeted it'll be weird to see all his stock. I suppose in a way I imagine like the Forge World shop in Warhammer World, but this will be the first one that isn't like.
And also from a selfish point of view as well, it's really nice to have something happening on the UK scene, because like we said, having been at UK Expo, World Model Expo,
patronism coming through their line.
World Model Expo. Yeah. You realise how big the European scene is still, and how small the UK scene is. Although we're punching through, so it's nice to see a bricks and mortar. Hopefully, hub for people to come to the UK here. And
will be interesting. Also, that whole space in the floor makes me think they'll have like painting desks like Games Workshop or something. So I doubt it, but I'll be really interested to see what they fill the floor with. Meanwhile, I don't know officially, but that looks like Pedro Fernandez, like 100%.
Nailed it. So the other news from Black Sun Miniatures is they've started to show a barrage, Jamie, of releases that are coming our way to make up for the quiet time.
Just quickly, without mentioning any names of the sculptors, all of these sculptors, I am mentioning names, all of these sculptors were meant to be in line for me, and Black Sun pipped me to the post. So fair play, Black Sun there. Fair play.
Well, that's what they told you, Jamie. God, it's that Jamie guy again.
Yeah,
and,
well, it's just funny.
More elves. I'll just tell him I'm preoccupied with Black Sun.
Pedro actually started it, which is quite funny. But I think I think what's quite good about me is, and I think 3 people have told me this, is like, you don't have deadlines, so we tend to just sort of sack you off for people who do have deadlines. Anyway, not to put a downer, that was meant to be an anecdotal joke, even though it's real. So yeah, sorry.
So this is I don't know where to go with that. This is the just carry on, Lionel. This is the first release from Black Sun, and it is Terlana, and she is a 75mm warrior, and she's going to come as one of 2. We've not seen what the other one is yet, but they're part of something called the End of the Battle. So this is this is more in line with what you recognise from Black Sun in terms of their fairly heroic, well-proportioned warriors that they seem to have in their shop. And as you've quite correctly pointed out, Jamie, this has been sculpted by Pedro Fernandez, who's been able to dedicate a lot more time, I understand, on this model, having said no to another company. I don't know who they are.
No, don't need to know.
But that time's been well spent, in my view, and I'm glad he said no to that other guy, because
he did.
It shows in the end result and what is produced here. So.
Rumor has it, though, he didn't say no. He started sculpting it, but then forgot. Yeah, and then forgot. Sad, isn't it? It's a love story. It's really good. Obviously, I think I still don't really understand sculptors, how the hell they do it. Honestly,
it is like black magic.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
Who knows, Jamie? If you go to one of those sculpting courses at Black Sun Studios, you'll probably understand it a bit better.
Sorry, everyone. I really, I don't, because the just explaining my yawn. It must be like 25, 6, 7 degrees now in my room, where before the whole time I've had the aircon on, and now the temperature's dropped, and I'm like, it's quite snuggly. The lights are quite low. Like it anyway. What was the point? Where were we going?
That was the first
Black Magic. Oh yeah, right. I do really want to get into sculpting, I have to say. Like, I have a desire as much as to paint as to sculpt, but I have no inclination how to start it. I'd love to be able to sculpt, because then everyone wouldn't complain about Elder, because I could just do it privately myself. So maybe if they do a green stuff course, I'll be there. I would actually go to a green stuff course, I think. That'd probably be the one I'd like to go. Well, green stuff, it just looks good, doesn't it? But it's so shit. Anyway, so next release, or do you want details, or?
No, I finished with that one. I just want to move on.
And that's not out now, is it? It's out in the future at some point.
It's coming soon, yeah. So this is basically a sneak peek of stuff that's coming.
Yeah, really cool.
Okay, so if we could go back to there's one with like 3 sculpts. Yeah,
leave it with me. Leave peaks. Yeah.
Not that one.
Shit. Yeah, we're back in.
Okay. So, yes, the next big announcement from Black Sun Miniatures is their new range of models. And the range has been dubbed The Place Beyond the Mountain. Now, there's 6 sculpts that have been far, and they've all been sculpted by an individual called Muzaffar Varpov. Once again, standard apologies if I've mispronounced your name, but I try my best, and we'll put a link in the description below to the profile so that you know who they are. There's a lot I want to say about this, but the first thing is there's 6 sculpts coming in this range. I don't know if there's more available, but this is something that if you follow the forums such as Bust and Evia Metal, we've been seeing sneak peeks of this stuff from the sculptor himself. And the one thing that struck me was he has a distinctive style, but also in many ways, his style is similar to Lucas Pinner, in my view. There's something about him whereby you can't put your finger on it, but you can tell those sculpts belong to the same sculptor. There's a character there. And if I remember correctly, when we did a sneak peek of something last year, I'm pretty sure he contacted me and said one of his big inspirations was Lucas Pinner.
They are really similar in I think it's the smoothness, maybe the finish. It seems so similar.
But the character as well. There's that kind of I can't put my finger on it, but you know how Lucas Pinner's sculpts have all got that character that
when you see them like this, isn't it?
Exactly, that are unmistakably his.
Yeah.
These have, I mean, that top one with the witch holding the duck. That harks back to one of Lucas Pinner's sculpts, in my view. Was it the Baba Yaga? It was called, or
I know exactly the one you mean.
Yeah. So there's definitely characteristics there, and Black Sun have been quite savvy to grab this sculptor and get them to sculpt quite a lot, because I can see the future is going to look quite bright, particularly as well as Lucas Pinner runs off the limited edition kind of release model, whereas I presume these are just going to be available all the time. So there's 6 busts at the moment.
So
they're not available.
These 3, okay, these 6.
So in the first picture we've got that one, and it's worth saying as well, they've been painted by Stanislav. And once again, I'll put a link in the description below so you can go straight to the profile and see the individual's full name, how it's pronounced correctly, and the rest of his body of work. But yeah, so the first one in the bottom is Captain Nabby, I understand. The kind of blue goblin on the left is Norbert. And I believe the old lady at the top is Verona, I hope. Yeah,
I do think they're really good concepts. Like whoever came up with the concepts they know what they're doing. Yeah. And the next ones? Should we go to the next one? Or?
Yeah. And the next one, at the bottom we have got Bernard the Forest Guard.
Oh, they're mushrooms, I see. Yeah.
Balavac is the kind of little, I forget what they're called.
Horse, like Minotaur. Minotaur.
No, it's not a Minotaur. It's the guy, like
the half horse, half person.
Chronicles of Narnia, the first creature she meets when she goes through.
Goat man.
It's half
fawn.
Yeah.
Or foal. I don't know. Fuck me.
I don't know. I don't know. But if you know, you know. And then after that, we got. I can't even read my own writing, but it's a witch with a duck. but they all have names, and so there's
They're
6
beautiful
busts.
sculpts, aren't they? Yeah,
They are, and like I said, I think I'm very interested to see how these go, particularly with the popularity of Lucas Pinot as well. I think these are going to ride off the back of that, coupled with the popularity of Black Sun. First releases from them for a while, these should fly off the shelf, in my view.
It's also interesting because Black Sun obviously, Black Sun do busts obviously, but all the busts that I've seen from Black Sun before have been like barbarians or orcs.
They've always been very dark and very serious, haven't they? Which is why I'm drawn to Black Sun, because we've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
I do like my stuff dark. Mirrors my soul, Jamie. And as a result, the kind of Black Sun range I really like.
Yeah, exactly.
That sword and sorcery takes itself very seriously. So this is sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say this range reminds me a lot more of the things I was doing in terms of not serious so much. Like they don't take themselves, well, maybe they take themselves seriously because the sculpts are so good, but they're not like wartime necessarily, right? They're just people living their lives.
Well, exactly. And also, so obviously the forest guard, the guy at the bottom, and the creature we can't name in the middle, they would have looked out of place in a Pixar film.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and all of them like they've got the theme is basically like wood. Obviously he's a pirate, but like, and then the evil witches, like nursery time, and a random goblin with a spider.
Yeah, they've got that kind of kids' fable look, haven't they?
Yeah, like the old like German folktale stories, to scare people almost. Yeah.
So it's an interesting new range for Black Sun, offering something a little different, and I think they're gonna go down very well.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to have these in my I'll stop bitching. Yeah, I love them. I really do love them, and I assume that they will do quite well. I hope they do for both.
Yeah, like I said, I think Black Sun have got themselves a nice little sculptor there, and obviously Black Sun, they know how to market, they know how to do stuff. So I hope it is successful for them. So yeah, Sleeping Giants Awaken from you got a new studio space, new painting courses, new sculpting courses, new range of models.
It's a lot going on, isn't it? It's exciting.
It's all go over there at Black Sun.
Yeah, I really do hope, especially I hope that they are twice as successful as they were before. Or 3 times. I suppose don't put a limit on it, right? Just say I hope they're more successful than they were before. Yep. So do you want to look at these photos, or do you want to go to the website for this?
We can just look at the photos. So what we had over the weekend is GW. It's something they started during lockdown, and it seems to be something they're maintaining, is where they're doing these virtual previews, where they do sneak peeks of stuff that's going to come. And what they had over the weekend was one for their skirmish games, and there were new releases for Blood Bowl, Warcry, or new sneak peeks for Warcry, Blood Bowl, Underworlds, and some other stuff. And I didn't want to go through a blow by blow of everything, because it's not all for us really. However, what did grab my eye was this new release for Necromunda. So Necromunda has now gone, it's still a skirmish game, but it's gone from the kind of Underhive, which was a cityscape, to it's more like Mad Max. And Games Workshop have really thrown themselves into that kind of Mad Max feel, and they're pulling all the kind of cliches out that you would do, and the tropes that you would do from a Mad Max film. And this was quite interesting, seeing a bike, or a sort of bike, in Necromunda for the Goliaths. And I thought it was quite a nice sculpt. It's quite interesting, because for me, that's straight out of the Mel Gibson Mad Max, as far as I'm concerned.
It's a game. I wonder if it gets a new game, or just you have different maps, and obviously some have more scenery and others don't.
I believe it's got, like I said, because I don't play it, I believe though it's got different game mechanics. It's not the same game.
I suppose it has.
There was a new,
there
was a new box set that came out, and a lot of people thought that it might be just. But no, my understanding is it's effectively it's not a reskin. It's a new game, so you can play. I think it's called Wastelands or Ashen Wastes.
Makes sense. That's cool.
And then you've still got the traditional.
So this will be This will be the same kit, won't it? And then you can just build either or.
Yeah. So the first one is obviously a Micra, and then the second one, when you change it to the big tire, it becomes a tumbler from the second Batman film, Jamie.
Yeah. So it can just.
Oh, this is the Bat Pod, wasn't it? The bike was the Bat Pod.
Is it with a different back, with a
different back, and obviously not Batman on it. But other than that, exactly the same.
Yeah. Big tire, the old classic. I can't believe they made a bike for that. It's kind of weirdly cool.
It does look cool. It's why I thought let's share it, because actually it's different for them, and it did look really cool.
Interesting, isn't it? He's just got a different hat. I suppose you don't need much more when you're riding. Interesting that Christopher Nolan was thinking about doing Batman 4 with Christian Bale. It's a weird one.
I think what's happened is somebody's asked him and said, "Would you do?"
And he's going, "Yeah."
Another Batman. He's going, "Well, yeah, of course I'll return if the check's big enough. Anybody will return." And I think they asked the same thing of Christian Bale, and he went, "Well, if the story was right, and I suppose if the check was big enough, I would." And everybody's saying, "Well, Batman 4's happening." It's not. They've moved on from that now. I mean, the problem with DC is they're really DC are really struggling with their identity at the moment, and the last thing they need to do is then go back in time and confuse people even further by revisiting another. And I think it finished. For me, I think it finished on a high. It finished right. I don't think there's much more story to tell.
Dragging out, really, aren't you?
I'm more interested in seeing where. Oh my God, Pattinson's Batman's going to go.
It was a good film. And
if we have to bring somebody back, I'd rather they brought back Affleck so he can finish it off properly, because I think Nolan's and Bale's version
it's done, isn't it? It did. Yeah. I agree. I have to say, if they actually did make a new film, I wouldn't be annoyed. I'd be like, I'd go and see it, but it would be weird. Of course. Yeah.
I think for the likes of you and I, it'll be okay. But I think for your general viewing audience,
it would be bloody confusing,
because you've got Michael Keaton coming back as Batman in The Flash. You've got Batfleck in there still. You've got Robert Pattinson's Batman. If you brought that 4 Batman, no Superman at the minute, it'll just confuse the hell out of people.
It would. It's already confusing me. Hold on.
Oh, and now
we said multiverse. That's what we said.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, for me, I just think if somebody's asked a question in the interview and now the internet's just running with it, I don't think it'll ever happen.
Well, I mean, that is how the director's cut of Stranger Things have happened. For fuck's sake. I wasn't meant to swear, sorry. I'm not looking forward to the Flash film, I have to say. I don't want to go too far down this road, but just in general, I just think it's going to be a nightmare. Especially now, hasn't he come out as something's wrong with him and they don't want to continue? They scrapped his contract or something.
It's not that. I think the guy's going
dodgy, or
no, he's well, alleged. The problem is I don't like commenting about because because of my job, I always know there's more to the story that meets you. There's always 2 sides to everything. So you'll the kind of media sensationalization. What is going on, Jamie? Jesus, it's like Doctor Strange all over again. There's loads of me. But if you take what the media is saying, he's assaulted somebody in Hawaii. He's kidnapped somebody, a minor. He's got issues. He's just coming completely off the tracks, and as a result, he's become a PR nightmare for Warner Brothers.
Are Warner Brothers coming out and saying that he is?
At the minute, they've been quite hush hush, but
which makes sense.
Behind the scenes, sources are saying they are looking to get rid of him. They're looking to, because he's just too much to manage now.
And he's not even that good.
Yeah,
I enjoy him. Don't get me wrong. I don't think.
He's not Barry Allen.
Yeah, at all.
Yeah, he's not the Barry Allen. Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do with him. So I think the rumor is they might use it, because obviously what happens at the end of, spoilers if you don't read comics, but if you do read comics, you know, at the end of the Flash, it's going to reboot the universe in some way. So it's not the universe he's come back to because he's messed around with time space.
So they can do what they want, in other words.
Yeah, they're using it as an excuse to reboot the universe because obviously the DC universe, cinematic universe, is in a bit of a mess. Which is why you've got Michael Keaton as the new Batman and Affleck's out, and things like that. They've got is the guy who was meant to be rebooting it and bringing it all forward is now a PR nightmare as well. So they're really in trouble, bless them, over there.
Can I have? I'm just going to leave it like that. I think it's a weird thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like sympathy. Like, do I have much sympathy for? I mean, yeah, no, but I suppose they're the ones making the choices, and like they're a mess in general. Like they were the guys who pushed like the whole like after seeing Avengers, they were like, right, let's make Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad.
But the other issue with it as well is Warner Brothers Media was owned by a telephone company. I think it was AT&T. So essentially, they didn't know how to run a movie studio. Now that they've been taken over by Discovery, who know how to run program content, you're now seeing them say, "Are we both frozen now?"
Nope.
It has on my screen.
You are, yeah, you are. I just didn't want to say anything. You're back now.
Okay. Now, as a result, they know how to manage media. So they're rebooting everything because they don't want to be stuck with what he had done. But essentially, oh my God, all you had was basically Warner Brothers was run by a company that had no idea about entertainment.
But they knew they had this brand that meant they had to make films and they had all these characters.
So what Discovery have done now is they're looking to copy the Marvel model in the sense that they're going to have a Kevin Feige, I forget how you pronounce his name, as the head of the studio who will oversee every project.
Yeah, so there's
continuity and consistency with the projects, which is what you didn't have before.
Yeah, it was a bloody nightmare, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Makes me sick. Right.
That being said, phase 4 of Marvel hasn't really blown me away.
No, it's I was having this. Have you seen Thor now?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
I don't want to. Obviously, no spoilers whatsoever.
No.
I don't even want to tell people what I thought of it really, but bloody piss poor. Didn't know what it was doing. It didn't know. It was a complete and utter mess, which is confusing actually. Maybe they're just running out of creative steam, but it was confusing in as much that it's the same writers, it's the same directors.
Well, the other issue with that is what they're saying is because so many projects are coming out now between this and Disney Plus. Kevin, I'll just call him Kevin because I'll mispronounce his surname. Old Kev doesn't have his hand in everything anymore, and that's why you're seeing inconsistency with the quality that's coming out because the amount of projects that are coming out, he can't oversee everything.
Yeah, it's impossible to, right? But it's basically them getting greedy. Effect. I can't think of another. Oh, that's interesting that your webcam comes up with that as soon as this little warning comes up. And the viewers are probably wondering why we don't just pay for Zoom, and it's a good question. We did in the past when we had.
We always say that we're going to, and then we forget about it until we sit down.
Yeah, I know. But what's funny is we did pay for it when we had the Fernando thing because obviously we wanted to put out the best possible quality stream. So we paid £12 a month. In the end, it cost me £62 because we didn't cancel. And look how that show went down. So I don't want to get on positive news line. I'm back, baby. I'm back.
Well, this is it. I wanted to know, obviously, after you won gold.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. Whether and my next question, I might as well ask it now anyway. My next question is, with you going to Austria for 7 weeks, I presume, and I hope you've packed painting kit because I don't want you turning around saying, well, Lionel was in Austria for 7 weeks, I couldn't paint. So that was my excuse.
Well, I haven't packed anything yet, but I already have quite a lot of supplies that I took over there.
Okay.
But I have no desk really to paint. It's all a bit frustrating, and especially as I just got my room. Like I finally finished redoing my room, and it's like clutter free. kind of, and it's beautiful. Honestly, it's like, in my opinion, it's beautiful because it's just not covered in shit. There's not like hundreds of models everywhere. It's just a painting setup. And I painted yesterday and today, and I just enjoyed. I think I've been a little bit damaged from where I was always trying to paint so fast, like really quick, just get it done, like so I can move on to the next one, learn more, and just go really quick. And considering where I came from, where I used to spend like 100 hours on a 28mm, but enjoy those hours, like really refining and going through. And I've forgotten that. And it's only now I'm reminding myself, like, I laid down the base colours on this model that you're looking at, and I rushed it all, and I fucked up a lot of stuff, like too thick or too thin, just trying to get it down quickly. And it's not the way I paint, I don't think. I like to do things in segments, you know. I don't have to paint the whole thing. So I'm just rediscovering my old form, basically. But it felt good to just sit down and know to myself, I can spend like 20 hours on this piece and not, you know, not be stressed about it, because that's what I've been in the past, like really sort of like really eager to get to the next piece, try and do almost like a sketch kind of vibe. And I don't want to do that. That's not who I am, I don't think. So, you know, so here is what, and I'm recreating that one in the background. And it was really difficult because I'm using the paints from 1999. And one of the pots I had, it was really chalky. And I was discussing with Albert and Anal, and they were like, just fucking give up the shit paints, mate. And I was like, but I love them. And they're like, look, do you want to have fun, or do you just want to struggle all day?
Wait. What paints were they? Oh,
The old,
GW one.
yeah, the old Citadel paints
But
from like.
isn't that what Albert uses? I thought Albert has all the classic old GW.
No, he just
as
has
well.
them in the background for nostalgia.
Oh, he never uses them.
Yeah, they're all sealed. Like, no, he does
Okay.
use some, but like he'll mostly use inks from then. In fact, I gave him a pot of ink from '99 yesterday,
Okay.
bloody full, which they didn't even come full. I just obviously I was anyway. No, he mostly uses like, I don't know, but like probably AK, Chimera, Vallejo, whatever.
Classic go-tos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, when it hit me today, like after like 30 minutes of struggling, of thinking I need to paint faster, just hit me like just relax in it, enjoy the process. And I've not felt that in a really long time. So
and I think as well, paint what you enjoy regardless. So the stuff that I really enjoy and the stuff that kind of paints itself is the kind of the Marvel MCP stuff
models
that I paint, which I paint because I game with, you know, the little gaming models, and I really enjoy those. And they're so easy to paint and they're so enjoyable to paint. I think you've got to have your serious projects which push you, or you know, going on in the background, and you've got to have your palette cleansers like this.
Well, you don't have to think too much, like.
Yeah.
And obviously, this is my first model back in 2.5 years or whatever. Or I mean, that's not strictly true. I have been painting the odd elder, but like maybe the first one in earnest, where hopefully I can keep it going. But yeah, the paints were so chalky, and I basically couldn't use them, which is why they were saying stop painting. And then I found another pot from that same era that was slightly newer, or not newer, but hadn't been used, and it wasn't chalky. So, you know, I wasn't saying I had the last laugh, but certainly it was fuck them all, innit? Hopefully this is good, and if I can get it to look like the thing in the background, then I'll be exceedingly happy. Because that's one of the Juan conversions. Obviously, you can't buy that model.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah, that was going to be my question. So obviously the Juan green has gone a bit. What is it when the internet goes a bit viral?
Oh, right,
yeah, a lot of people have commented on it, and
on what?
On basically it being at World Expo, a lot of people were so happy to see it there.
Juan's.
Yeah, it's probably worth saying Jamie's the one who entered it on his behalf, because it's a piece that Jamie got commissioned and sculpted. So you can bang it on the thumbnail now. But my question in relation to that was, would you ever paint one of those, or are they there to just to be enjoyed in the green?
Yeah, I think I find green stuff just far too beautiful to.
Yeah.
The idea of putting paint on it is It's horrible.
I mean, it's something I agree with. It's one of those that as much as we joke about old hammer and stuff, for me, it would be almost criminal to paint that. But it would be. So I always wondered, what was your intention? Was it always so that you could paint something like that, or was it just to own the green?
Yeah, well, the green thing that I entered for World Model Expo, actually, interestingly, obviously I've been speaking to one for a while, and we just enjoying each other's company as two adult men can do, and and then like out of the blue one day he was just like, "What do you think of this?" And he was just like, "Bosh, he's done it." So in strictly speaking, it wasn't actually a commission.
Okay.
It was actually just a fact. Like all the models afterwards have been commissions, but that one I entered was just, I guess he was just like, he just enjoyed sculpting it. And then maybe he got halfway through and he was like, "Do you know what? I could probably flog this to Jamie because I know he loves Zelda and I love money. So put those two together." So yeah, that was a thing that he did off his own back, and I'm eternally grateful. And we came up with a contract which basically said I can get no cast done of it, and it will be exclusively green, so that model will never get painted, which is a bit sad because it's beautiful and I would like to paint it.
Oh, okay. Oh, so the contract says you can't paint it.
I could paint the green, but I can't get cast done of it. Like he doesn't want cast done, and
understandably.
Yeah. He was like, let's just leave that as a special. And I was like, yeah, that's fair enough. So yeah, like that's where we are, and I was surprised that it even featured in Andy's video, the Wardle brothers. Henry and Andy.
They're not brothers.
Yeah, I know. But I like to call them. It just sounds better, doesn't it? The Wardle Studio, a cult of paint. But I guess that they've got some old hammer vibes still deeply nested inside them, haven't they?
Yeah, they love their GWs. So, and I think this generation has grown up with those models. So there's always going to be heavy nostalgia, isn't there, when something like that's seen at a show.
And it was such.
And the heavy metal team were there as well, weren't they? Or
some of them were. Yeah,
members. Yeah, Max was there at World Expo and some of the others. So yeah.
I enjoyed their company. Didn't speak to them. I think I spoke to them once, and they were like, "Who the fuck is this guy? What? Like, when like someone like if you say you're
to be fair though, I think that's probably most people first interaction when they interact with you. Like, is this guy for real?
Well, yeah, and I think all I was asking them was like directions or for a chair. Like,
didn't you?
I can't. I think I said like Albert had been talking to him or something, and I was trying to find Albert. I was like, "Have you seen Albert?" And they were like when there's, let's say there's like a square of people, right? And then you come in here and you talk to like this one, and then this one will give a sideways glance to that one.
Like, who's this guy?
And like the whole mood just goes, and you're like, how is this? What's going on here? It was kind of like that in a more comical, like stupid way. I think it was like he was like, and you look, yeah, okay. I was just like, yeah, I'll see you later. I pulled a stupid face back, but in confusion, and then left. And I was like, that was a weird exchange. Whatever just happened was a weird situation. To go from something so mundane. Oh, look, he's gone. It didn't even give us a warning this time, and it's been 40 minutes. Take your meetings to pro. Well, that should hit us.
Let's just do another 10 minutes.
All right, we're back. Yeah, it didn't give us a warning like normal. We will upgrade, maybe not. In a way, it's a nice feature for everyone. But yeah,
the idea, the reason we didn't upgrade as well is it was designed to keep us to a time limit, and it's just not working.
Yeah. Well, the actual recording has only been 43 minutes, but this is the third one we've watched. I don't know. Maybe we talk too much, or
I still want to bring it in under about half an hour.
Yeah, on that.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
And the idea is, now that we're doing weekly, surely we can bring it in under half an hour.
You would think, but mate, we've got so much to say to each other, And this is after spending a week together. Bloody hell, in the same room. Yeah, it was a week though, wasn't it? It was a week. It was
Felt
Thursday to
like
Monday.
a week. Felt like a
Oh,
week, Jamie.
to be honest, that room was dire, wasn't it? Like, obviously it was plush, but
I've come. I don't want to go on about it, but I've come back, and the room, the travel, the Amsterdam airport,
that was rough.
and what else? Immigration, going in and going out. The one thing I do want to say to you, so what you said to me was, Lionel, come down to London and we'll all travel together. It'll be a right old laugh. Yeah, and I said to you, Jamie, don't be silly. I'm 20 minutes away from the airport. I'll be there before you. I'll land before. God almighty, I could have been in America quicker than that. It took me to get to
with the train as well, right? Yes.
and a train as well. So next time I will travel with you, but also, I'm now advocating we go on Eurostar next time.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be bad. But that only goes. Does that go to Eindhoven? That just goes to Amsterdam, right?
Oh yeah, that's the point. Yeah, you
still need to do another hour and a half on the train. It'll be a day on the train. We've got time to think about it. But Monty, you, me, are now Albert, and now's Mrs. We'll fly together to Florence.
Alnau's not going. He doesn't go to Monty unless he's told you he's going.
I think Albert said he was, but maybe not. I've not asked him, to be fair. But little dunk there. All right, well, whatever. We'll go and we'll rent a car and then we'll just drive.
Well, like I said, I'm definitely going to have to travel with you for there because obviously,
the car.
When I land, one of us is going to be waiting for the other one in the car, so we have to go together.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? And hold on, what was the other thought?
And also, isn't that flight like 3 hours, 3.5?
Probably a bit longer, isn't it? Surely it can't be that. Austria's like 2 hours 5 minutes, and Italy's.
I don't know, but yeah, the reason I said I'll fly by myself is because it's an hour and 20 minutes to fly. What I hadn't predicted is that I'd be on the tarmac for an hour waiting to take off.
Sad, isn't it? We went straight away, just we're like bullets. We got there like, not to rub it in, and it's all over now, so we can joke about it. But I definitely hope that next year for SMC we get hotel things. I really enjoyed the town, but not enough. I'd like to just go, right, Lionel, I'm just going for a quick 5-minute nap, or Lionel, I'm going to have a shower, or Lionel, I'm going to go.
I think the problem as well, because we're recording and we got so much equipment, we kind of need a base at the venue. Yeah. And there was a lot of humping equipment around in the heat, and then having to travel back on the bus or by Uber to get clean and then maybe come back again. So
it was a lot of faff.
I don't know.
A lot of faff. I mean, we did try to get the hotel, but like dissecting it, I think I personally had a whale of a time. I think it was an amazing thing. It exceeded expectations, like I think by quite a long way, actually. Like in hindsight, thinking back,
which is what I hoped, and I think your first experience was like my first experience because it's so bit much to take in. It blows you away. I think with me this time, because I'd seen it before, it didn't have that impact. It'd be interesting my third time whether it will. I think at that point it'll feel a bit like Warhammer Fest, where you kind of know what to expect, and that shine's gone to a degree. But once again, the one thing that was too much for me to take in was the painting competition. There's just still, no matter how much you do, and I think a lot of people see our footage and say, "Why didn't you zoom in on stuff?" And it's overwhelming. Even though it's 3 days, it's just too much.
The filming doesn't help our freeness, does it? Because as looking back at that video I recorded, and we only filmed that on the off chance, those videos. I realised that I didn't if I had an ideal, I would sit down, photos probably of each piece, go through it, catalogue it properly, upload it to a website. Do you know? You don't.
But you're talking about 5,000 pieces.
Yeah, it's
impossible. So all you can really capture is the scale of the event and the scale of the pieces. That's all. There's no way. The sad reality is, if you want to witness it that closely, you have to get there yourself.
And even then, you don't witness it properly. Most people spent you realise how long people spent there, because when I went and saw Albert was there basically all the time, looking at pieces, talking to people. That's the room that most people spend. Painters, spend most of the time in there, and even then they don't get through all the pieces. It's a fascinatingly weird, but
And even though there was a lot at SMC, I think the guy told us that there were 3,000 pieces at the last SMC, so it gives you, and even at 3,000 pieces, it's too much. I just realised actually, I do want to. I did it in the description of the video, but I do want to say something. I want to say thank you to Robin. Robin Loyar is the guy who gave you a lift to the tech store.
Brilliant guy.
So that we could get equipment, because our equipment broke on day 2 and we needed stuff, and we wouldn't have been able to get any of that footage of the painting competition, any of the interviews on day 3. So
imagine, we wouldn't have had the awards on there. We wouldn't have had...
Exactly. So Robin really sorted us out. So I would have tagged him on Instagram, but I can't find him on Instagram. So Robin Luya, thank you for helping us out. We and the audience are grateful, because
I paid him though in the end.
Sorry?
I gave him some money in the end.
Oh, did you?
Gave him €5. I thought that's nice of me, isn't it?
Yeah, right. So almost more insulting than giving him nothing.
Well, I paid for his parking, £5.
Yeah.
Did
you pay for his time, Jamie? Did you pay for his time?
I gave €5. To be honest, he really turned it round from being like, you imagine the downer that would have put on the whole thing, like not being able, it just would have been.
It's one of the main reasons, isn't it, to kind of chronicle the event, and then if after day 1 we couldn't record, it would. And we
had a bad.
It makes you think about Monte, actually, because Monte is in the middle of nowhere, on top of a medieval town, on top of a hill. We've got to have spares and backups, because
we learned from that. I've already bought 2 cables. I'm going to buy another hard drive.
If our stuff goes down in Monte, we are done. I mean, the nearest you're going to get is somebody to be able to maybe stitch a tapestry off our time there.
Maybe do some masonry work,
like a Hastings one.
Yeah. I think it was a really good, like, that's our first event with a new camera, really advanced technology, the best in the world, and
I think maybe with a bit more planning, we can get stuff like locked down a bit more. But I'm really happy with it. And I think the other thing as well, you've got to realize is Monte in theory should be easier, because there's no trade. It's just a painting competition.
That would be really nice.
But also there's no trade anyway. So all you've got is a painting competition, the painters, and the events that happen where people socialize. That's it. So in theory, you should. Oh, actually, it's made. I know we don't need internet there, do we? But it's made me think, actually, what the internet over there is like.
I can't. Yeah, I mean, I've never been. I can't.
If it's in a medieval village,
I
can't think it's that great. Right? Yeah.
It's not like we're going. Is it in a castle? It must be a public venue where you do stuff like.
Yeah, it's a small. It's like here in the UK. It's listed, isn't it? I doubt you go to castles. I don't know, and they've got internet. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I just know what our luck's like when we're sat in our rooms with all our stuff. God only knows what it's like in a medieval castle, Jamie.
In Italy as well.
Yeah.
Our internet won't even be. They will have locked it all down by then. We'll only get like 30% of our data inclusive.
Well, that was the other thing with me as well, wasn't it? It's the first time I've travelled since Brexit. So when I landed, my phone was locked.
Which is
and now I couldn't access my emails, so I didn't know where the hotel was that Jamie booked.
Should have printed.
I didn't know anything, and it took me 40 minutes to unlock my phone. So an hour on the tarmac, an hour and 20 minutes up in the air, 40 minutes unlocking my phone on the other side, and then I still had an hour and a half by train. So next time I say to you, "Don't be silly, Jamie, I'll be there before you."
It's good to get things wrong though, every now and then, isn't it? You learn from it.
No, it's never. No. I'd rather just luck out first time, Jamie, than learn.
Well, I mean, that's probably partly the reason why the event was so colourful for you this year.
It was a devastating event for me, Jamie. I'll look back at it and go, you know what? It could be worse. It could have been World Model Expo 2022.
Right, got you.
It'll be my benchmark.
Yeah, that's it. You can't get lower. I mean, we could have filmed that. I'm happy with the end result.
But the one thing that was great, like I've already said, is just meeting up with people again, chatting, socialising. That's the main reason I went.
We met some new people too, wasn't it? People who watched the show. That Welsh guy,
Yeah, it was
My
nice
or
meeting.
Moo or Me, something like that.
A lot of people came up actually, which was quite surprising, and said that they watch or they
Like,
I
oh
think
my
one
god,
guy
are you
popped up
those
behind
great
you.
guys that make that great content that no one else gets close to making? That's what they said,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
I think it was more of a case of when I've watched everything that's already on my watch list and I'm still painting.
Yeah,
That's when they go
desperate.
to you. That's when they go to you guys.
You're the best of the worst, but you are the
Yeah.
best of something. I was, yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
were extremely happy with the response we got from people. It was definitely a motivator.
It was really nice because obviously all we see is the view counter and the number counter, and
Yeah.
we don't always
Hollow,
get comments.
isn't
It's really nice putting actual real people
Yeah.
to views, because at least that way we know it's not just our mums watching it, Jamie, over and over,
Yeah, on
over and
repeat.
over again.
Yeah.
On repeat, just trying to get the views up for the boys.
There you go. I
So-
watched your video, son. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, how many times?
You didn't comment though, did you? And you didn't
Yeah, I
like
know.
mine.
Yeah, you let
Right,
it count.
okay.
But that is a point. Like, subscribe, and share. I actually like. Okay, the likes, subscribes, and the shares for me are the least important. I actually think commenting is the most.
Yeah.
Is the most, because you get some engagement and then we can reply, and it's like subscribe.
And
It's
I think
just numbers, isn't it? Really.
that's what's been nice as well about the expo coverage is we've had a lot of comments for us. It's been really nice being able to read them and respond. And I've yet to respond to Ben Curry actually, who put a very.
I
nice,
replied.
I think you replied, yeah, but I think
I'm a real man.
because he's obviously commented on my experience as well.
Yeah.
I want to.
It would be rude, and
so
he
but
also
I've-
added me on Facebook.
Okay. Actually, why comment? If he watches, I might as well say thanks, Ben, for the comments. It's taken on board. I didn't take it that too much to heart. And obviously, I know you came up with the computer program, which kind of chronicled and dealt with all the results. So that was no small feat. So congratulations on that. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the next event and trying to improve. So thank you.
Thoroughly looking forward to it. I'm a little bit annoyed Monty's during the football season, though. I won't lie.
I'll be honest. I've got to book our hotel. I've not done it yet because I still think I'm like pissing into the wind because I'm getting no confirmation. Like, no, that is the spot, and that is a 10-minute drive from where it is. I'm getting, well, yeah, you could stay there if you want. It's like, where are we staying? Are we like miles apart?
Yeah.
I just got visions of. Have you ever seen Hostel? You know, where those three guys stay in the wrong place, and then they're in some torture camp. I've just got visions of Hostel, and without luck, we are going to end up in something like Hostel. So I just want to make sure that we're within stone throwing distance of where we're meant to be, because Monty does seem like this magical Narnia place.
Yeah,
where it's very difficult. Yeah. It's very difficult to get through unless you go through the right wardrobe, and nobody tells you which wardrobe it is.
Yeah, and if you get the wrong one, you just get killed.
Or you're just at the wrong venue.
Yeah, okay.
No, you miss out.
We don't have to go so far. Yeah. We just have to travel in an hour each way. That would be annoying. Well, let's find out if any viewers know where to bloody stay. Then please let us know, because.
And also, the other thing we spoke to people about is they're like, whatever you do, don't. Although Florence is the nearest airport, don't fly to Florence because it's got one runway, and they're always cancelling stuff. So it's like, where do you fly to? Where do you land? Where do you drive from?
There should be a guide, right?
There's an old Monty and a new Monty, so it's like. Any guidance would be greatly appreciated, because Jamie and I have got a very strong likelihood of landing in the wrong place.
So we're pissing in the wind right now, is basically what you're saying.
Here we are, guys, outside the Vatican and in Rome.
We're having great fun, though. And, pizzas galore.
Yeah, we can't show you the models at Monty, but there's a great ceiling inside that chapel.
They wouldn't even let us film, though.
Actually, no, they wouldn't actually.
Yeah. So you fucked. You fucked.
Denied.
I'm looking forward to doing some coverage of Monty. I'll have to pick a new song. And I'm looking forward to hopefully picking some Black Sun miniatures.
To take as entries?
Nah, just to film. And I'm looking forward to painting some models. Bang on the hour there if we talk for another 58 seconds.
No, let's go. It's half
pre-hour.
No, it's 20.
Yeah, we were meant to be done by like 10:40, mate. Right, everyone. Thanks for watching another glorious, no, I'm out of focus, glorious episode of the Hutber and Lionel Show.